in 3, in 2, and hopefully you guys are there. What's up, guys? If you guys are catching this on the replay, let me know. Just comment #replay. And if you guys want to get reminded about the training that we're doing tomorrow on how to build a digital agency and how to get online and marketing clients without spending money on Facebook ads, just drop an emoji and I'll get that info to you. Now, I want to make sure that this gets shared out in all the appropriate places. So if you guys are catching this and you guys have gotten any value out of these things, make sure to turn on notifications so that you are notified when we go live. And then obviously all the likes and the loves and the shares, those things always, those always mean a lot. So Chris, I appreciate you hanging out. Chris, now would be a good time if we want to talk about real estate. I know you actually had a client or a prospect that you wanted to talk about specifically with real estate. So if you want to ask your question down there, we can get into it because I know you had some questions. So let's I'm gonna get this shared out in a couple of places, guys. So what I want to talk about here is I want to talk about how to get your first client, right? Because I know that a lot of people are what they're looking to do is to build this online business because they see a business and they see a life that they can create that they love, but a lot of them don't necessarily know how to get there. And so what I want to do is really talk about how to do that, right? And how to actually get your first one, specifically your first one, or we can frame it in your next one. I want to talk about how to get what we call low-hanging fruit, right? And if you can get low-hanging fruit and you can convert those as clients, you're going to start to get the ball rolling. So that way you can start utilizing some of these fancy systems and you can start utilizing some of these other mechanisms, right, of generating clients. So let's see here. I want to send a message now. So I'm going to send this out. If you guys are not subscribed to our Millennial Skills bot, okay, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the bot so that you guys can get all the notifications and all of the, we're going to start sending out more just notifications about us going live because we've done a poor job of that self-admittedly over the past. So what were we talking about? Hey, we're talking about getting your first clients and customers online live. Come hang out. And then I'm going to have a link to us. And then I'll also put, just so you guys know, I'll also put a unsubscribe button just in case anybody wants to unsubscribe, right? I'll also have that just so if anybody doesn't want to get more awesome stuff, they don't have to, right? Is not new. All right. Boom. All right, let's send that and let's keep going. All right. So first thing that we got to talk about, we got some people here. So Chris says, is there a Zoom link? Yeah, I can send you a Zoom link if you want to come in and actually chat on this live. If you think that it would be answerable in questions, we could do that. So try and give us a little context to what's going on. And so let's talk about this. Greg's joining us, and we're talking about how to get your first clients, right? How to get started when you're first starting out. And I think that a lot of business owners, they try and do the challenging things. They try and set up these Facebook ad systems. They even try and do these like cold email systems. And although those things can work, it is very, very challenging to implement them at a high level when you're first getting started, right? And so I think that is something that you just maybe want to know when you're first starting out, is you don't have to do that. So that's the number one thing, is understanding that you're not going to have to spend a lot of money. You're not going to have to run a lot of ads. You're not going to have to do those things when you're first getting started. The second thing you're gonna have to do, though, right, is you're gonna have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Okay, you're definitely going to have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because one of the biggest things that happens, with new business owners is they get kind of timid and shy, right? And so you can't let that be a hindrance to you creating conversations and creating more opportunities for you. So I'm going to promote, let's see. So Chris and Karen, I'm going to make you the host so that you guys can jump in and let's do a live coaching call. How about that? So Chris, it would be awesome if your camera is working. I think you should be able to turn it on now. It might not have let you do that before, but now you should be able to, and you should be able to unmute yourself as well. So guys, Chris is actually a member of our accelerator program and someone who is been prospecting and been doing lots of cool things and had some questions about specifically how to sell to real estate agents. And so we wanted to hop on. Chris, are you there? Anybody home? You are the host. So
yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Hold on. Oh, I need to turn that down.
Can you hear me?
Okay, so we'll come back to that. All right. So Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Is your camera working? Just for the people who are on live, it's always helpful to see who the other voice is behind it.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So welcome and thanks for for taking some time. I want to give a little context. So you were out there and just kind of set us up on what the question is, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah, actually, I think it's a very common question about not pitching, about building a rapport with all potential clients. And this was the one particular client. He is a realtor, and he is selling and buying apartments and houses and all of these things. And I think it feels like, when you talk about, actually those clients we have been pitching is people that's on the street, or you're sitting in a cafe and my mind and my brain is, thinking a lot about how the business is working, and you see all the weakness and you see all the strengths in the business, and suddenly someone can come in the front of you and ask questions, or maybe take away some of your stuff from the table, and you say, hello, how about this, blah blah blah. And that's the most common thing how we do. And we show them this I don't know, growth tool, and we enter them into a list, and there we have a digital business card. But the question is, for this realtor, it feels like we only have one shot, and you say, okay, come back to me, write an email, and I'm kind of allergic to that.
Great. Okay.
It feels like, maybe I'm not interested, but
So what I'm hearing is it sounds like, how do we get, the first question was, how do we build a relationship with the clients like there was that relationship with people who are, maybe we're not in their business or we're not talking to them on the streets, right? Kind of, how do we build that relationship from scratch out of thin air, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then the second thing that I heard was, well, then how do we actually, with this real estate agent, how do we get them to do what we want them to do, and how do we sell them the way we want to sell them, not the way they want to, right? Is that kind of what I'm hearing as well? Like,
exactly.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it's this.
So let's talk. So the first thing that I hear is the relationship, and the second thing is the process. And so, guys, we're going to dive into this. Chris is actually a member of our accelerator program, and so he's we're gonna do this here live because I owed him a coaching call and I blew it. So we're gonna do this here. So the first thing is relationship, right? And Chris, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Have you ever heard of the book? Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
That was one of the first books that I read when I was in sales. And what I realized was that sales was a lot less about being interesting. And it wasn't, how can I say all the right things? And it was a lot more about being interested in how can I ask all of the right questions. And I think that that is a really, really valuable distinction in the fact that you don't need to say all the right words. Essentially, you want to ask the right questions that gets them to say the right things, right? So for relationships, I always think about there's kind of a few parts to relationships, right? Obviously, the number one thing is likability. And so there are ways that you can kind of hack likability, right? Things like mimicking body language, things like, tonality and tone and stuff like that. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, you need to be authentic, you need to be yourself, and you need to be your, I think that's the best thing I could say is to be your truest self, because at the end of the day, you don't want clients that don't vibe with you. You don't want clients that don't jive with you. And I'm realizing that a lot of this now. So that's kind of the first thing. And then the second thing is tactically is asking questions about their business. And so this will kind of bleed into the second one, which is the process. So whenever so let me ask you this: how are these kind of cold conversations? How are they coming about? And can you throw me the host? If you can, on your Zoom on the bottom it says participants, and then if you can make me the host, if you click by my name, it'll allow me to do
of course.
stuff with you guys. So how are these conversations? How are they coming about? How are you starting these conversations? Are they coming through Facebook, email, referrals? Yeah. Like how did you, like, where did you find this real estate agent?
It's actually, it's a long relation. It's not a personal one, but we have been in touch with this guy before, and we have waited for the right point where it could be possible to attack him.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So the relationship has kind of already been built, right?
He know who we are. Yeah. And they are stressed. And the pitch was about, because we know they love lead generation,
So I was hanging out with John Logar, and I'm grabbing my notes because I always come back to these same notes. If I can get them, where are they? There is a series of questions that essentially, when I'm building a relationship, I'm trying to ask questions that are highlighting these things, right? So the first thing is the incapability, right? So one of the things that I like to ask questions about is like, well, what are they doing and what are they not doing? And have you thought about Facebook advertising? Have you heard about things called messenger marketing, right? And I'm framing it as a question. I'm not ever telling them anything, but I'm framing it as a question. And in asking them, they're going, no, I have no idea. And the right ones, the natural thing for them to say is, well, Chris, tell me about that. And so now, because you asked the question and they are the right person, their curiosity now frames you and makes you the expert, right? If you've ever had a friend who introduced you to a certain topic or subject or band or website or something, now they're the expert, at least to you. And so by asking that question, you frame that incapability. The second question and the second things that you want to kind of just talk about is how difficult either it is for them currently what they're doing, get them talking about how challenging it's been, or talking about how difficult it's going to be to execute what you do, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you know, if you try and learn Facebook ads and messenger marketing, I mean, man, you know, you could get lost and you could spend, you know, hours and, you know, wasting your time looking. I mean, you really want to kind of build up the fact that they don't even want to try to do what you do. Like that's the thing I think a lot of people miss is I try and sell people off of doing what I do. Like that's like they have to not want to do marketing, right? It's like you're a real estate agent. You go do you. I'm getting like let me handle the marketing. So the second thing is that it's difficult, right? The third thing that I'm trying to draw out of this relationship process, and I'm doing this through my main method is asking questions, right? It's just that is my number one weapon is questions. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing for this? Have you guys done anything like this? Do you guys, you know, and always in a helpful way, right? It's all, you know, and the great thing is that naturally, if you ask the right questions, they're going to want the answers, right? And, you know, a lot of them won't have it. So the third thing that we try and kind of illustrate is the complexity of it, right? We're just, they should know that there's some pieces to it. There's some components to it, right? That it's like a lot of real estate agents go, yeah, well, I can run a Facebook ad. Anybody can run a Facebook ad. I'm like, yeah,
correct. That's right.
Fucking everybody can. But not everybody can run an app, high converting ad, send it to a messenger bot, have a messenger bot grab their phone number, name, and their email address, send that off to your email address, put that into Google Sheets, put it into your CRM. Oh, and then we're going to follow up with them as well. Yes, people can run Facebook ads, but nobody knows how to do that shit. And that's what we're talking about, right? So it's so, and let me give you the last one, right? The last one is costly, right? As costly as that. I always talk, you know, in the initial period, I'm talking about how we've ran all the tests, we've spent money on the courses, we've tried it all on people before. So now that this client that I'm doing it with isn't going to have to suffer and isn't going to have to, we're not testing anything on this client, right? Or it's like I'm not a brand new, you know, Facebook person. You could hire your niece or your nephew and, you know, and tell them to run your Facebook ads, but you're just going to be burning your money because it's costly to not have an expert. So now in this relationship kind of period, you have some things to kind of talk about. And naturally, if you build that relationship around that, it's going to frame you as the expert because you're going to have all the answers to, you are capable of doing this. It's not difficult for you. It's not complex, at least for you. You know how to do it. And you've already spent all the money and put in all the investment and time. So the only cost is that they are paying you to do it instead of them going through all that. So that's what we're talking about in the relationship building process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. It felt like, you know, and you asked, what kind of system is this? It felt like, you know, okay, I'm number 204 that's contacting him to trying to sell him a CRM system or, you know, the ad methods or something.
So for this, it's always about differentiation, right? People say, the other day, I had someone in a group say, or I told them, oh, by the way, and I never say that we're selling chatbots. Like I never say that ever. And I had someone say, well, why wouldn't you? Like blah, blah, blah. And it's because I'm like, I'm not selling chatbots. I'm selling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, in our email, we had an orthodontist, I think it was, that responded to an email, or is a dentist? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Some medical professional.
Yeah.
And what we said was, we have a new technology that's millions of dollars of revenue for businesses like yours. Do you want to know more info about it? And this technology that's producing millions of dollars. Guess what? It's just chatbots, right? But we don't say that. We frame it in a way that they care about. And what that does is now it's like they could go out and they could find any person who does chatbots or messenger marketing. But we have a system, right? And our system is really what makes us different, right? It's like a restaurant. Any place can buy chicken and vegetables and water and salt and pepper, but it's about the chef that stirs it up and cooks it in this particular way that makes it worth so much and makes it so valuable. And similarly, it's like, yeah, you can find someone who does Facebook ads, but we don't. It's like Facebook ads is our piece of the puzzle. It's one ingredient on our pizza, right? And so being clear about your differentiation, and a few months ago, you could be just different with chatbots and messenger marketing. I wouldn't call it chatbots, but you could just be different with messenger marketing. Now it's probably got to the point where people are getting hit up so much about like this thing that we've got to morph a little bit more so that we're always a little bit different than everybody else. You don't have to just be better. You have to be purposefully different, right? Intentionally different than all of your people. And even if that difference is just the fact that you talk about how different you are than everybody, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. And the matter of fact, I mean, we're not selling chatbots, we're selling solutions for a problem, and actually solutions for a result.
Right.
That was we were pitching. I mean, it's a battery, it's a system of different kind of methods and mechanics that we put together. I mean, it's ads and it's landing pages and it's email. I mean, we don't exclude anything.
Exactly.
I always ask them, what is your marketing goal? And they look like question marks. And you can break it down to a money level. And you can say, okay, we want 200 new clients and we want to have 50 persist clients coming back to our cafe or something. And we want 200 new ambassadors every month. We had one story today. We were at the cafe and we're sitting there and the waiter was coming forward and we asked them, why things like this, why isn't that, and it actually came to the waiter was an event person they have been taking in. So the relation started there and this was the right person to connect to because of this person did understand how to do survey selling.
Right.
Yeah. How to really connect with the clients and ask them what's wrong and what's good. And then it's a matter of tweaking to get to a certain result. So we can't just sell chatbots. No, we're not selling chatbots. We're selling results. That's the thing.
Your second question was about the process and how do you get someone who says, oh, well, just send me info, right? It's really what we do is we have a very defined process of here's what's going to happen before we even start selling to them, right? It's like they have to go through these hoops. You've got to go through these doors, these gates before we're ever going to pitch. And what happened, the reason was that we were too excited sometimes to start pitching people because they were like, oh, we're kind of interested. And so we were just like a dog trying to hump, someone's leg. and we're like, okay, when we went straight in for the kill, right? And the challenge is that when we did that, there were too many loopholes and there were too many open loops, open holes that weren't filled. And so they ended up not converting, not becoming clients. And so what we really focused on was, in essence, slowing down a little bit to make sure that by the time we got to this pitch, by the time we got to actually talking to this client about paying us money, that they had all these boxes checked off. And I've shared these before with you, but let me share even more detail about specifically how we make that happen. So on the very first phone call, right? Like if they're ever, like let's say these people kind of, come out of the blue or whatever it is, my goal is to always get them on a phone call where it's my phone call, right? If I'm meeting them somewhere, I'm gonna chat them up. I'm gonna build an amazing relationship. I'm gonna say, hey, let's follow up later. If they're coming in off a cold email, I'm gonna say, hey, I can get you all the details, but it's best and it'll be quicker. Let's just get on a phone call, right? I'm gonna push for the phone call or in-person meeting,
Yeah.
as much as possible, right? Now,
Yeah.
when I get on that phone call, like what's very, very important for me is that at the very beginning, there's 15 seconds at the beginning of the call where people have a chance to kind of take control or at least take direction and be the guide. So we chat. So, let's just role play, Chris. You be the client and I'll be the the marketer. Okay.
Yeah.
Ring, ring. Hello. You just answer. You say hello.
Oh. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Here. Yeah.
Hey, Chris. This is Hector. How's it going?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, I know we had a call scheduled today. I know you're super busy. So what I really like to do is just ask you a couple of questions, kind of like a doctor, really to see if there's anything that we can do to help. Because I don't want to waste any of your time, and I definitely don't want to, have you get any services that wouldn't be absolutely right for your business. And so it'll just be a couple of quick questions, and then if you're into it, what I'd like to do is actually set up another time where we can go more thoroughly into the whole process so you get all your questions answered. Does that sound good?
Yeah. I have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Won't take any, I'll take 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through those 4 questions. I'm going to go, are they marketing? Okay, Chris. Okay, awesome. So if you've only got 5 minutes, tell me really quickly, are you guys doing anything that's currently working right now in terms of getting you guys more buyers, more listings, more clients? Are you guys doing anything?
Yeah. We bought some likes,
Okay,
and
so you guys are already using social media a little bit.
Yeah. We bought some
Perfect.
likes, but it doesn't give anything. Yeah.
So Chris, we actually drive all of our results through social media. So
Okay.
so that's perfect. That's awesome, and that's a lot of how we generate our clients. Second thing is there anybody else who kind of runs the show with you? Do you have any partners or any people who makes the decision?
Yeah, I have it's a person in the staff, but she's working half time here now. So
she's off right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's no problem. We'll just want to make sure that the next phone call is at a time when she's working. So that's great. And how soon do you guys think you're going to get started? Like, I mean, Chris, you could tell me go to hell, and you could tell me to never, call you back if you guys don't like it. But let's just assume that you like it. How soon would you guys want to get started?
Yeah, I think it's the things is burning. It's 10 cafes around here, and we want to get to the top.
Okay, so you guys are ready to go now.
It's a good thing. Yeah. We can start next week if it's possible.
Awesome. Okay, last thing, Chris. Our basic packages are $1,500, and that's kind of where it starts out. Of course, if you want, to add on and to really drive a lot more results, we have a ton of other offers and packages that we can do. But that $1,500, that's not going to put you out of business or anything, right?
I don't know, because we were paying $25 for a boost post.
You're paying $25?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I know you guys. Well, if you're selling houses, right, and then if I'm going to go in here, I'll sell them on it. So let's say if it's a real estate agent, we can keep going. Let's say I'd ask them, okay, how much do you make? How much is your average home? Okay, perfect. Well, it's that much. All right. If you make 3%, okay, cool. Well, 3% at this rate. All right. So awesome. So basically, if we help you sell, this many homes, one home, a half home, if we help you sell one home every 2 months, 3 months, it's going to pay itself, back, tenfold by over the end of the year. Is that something that you guys can manage? Because that's really our goal, is to take everything off your hands where you don't have to do anything. All you're going to have is just results coming back to you. So the only investment you're going to have to make is this service fee. You won't have to put any other time into it. Do you think this is manageable for you, or is this just not something that you guys?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it's possible, but because we are paying $2,500 a month on news advertisement in newspapers. Totally. And someone told me that maybe Facebook is much better.
Yeah. Well, let's just set up a time then with you and your assistant where we can go over the full strategy. And then at the end of it, if you guys like it, we'll talk about all the options and ways to go from there. And if you guys don't, then you'll never hear from us again. Does that sound good?
Yeah, because I'm a total know-how, nothing. I don't know anything about this. That this is the ordinary thing.
So this is and so we'll break role playing now. So this is this is that first phone call, right?
Yeah.
And what it's doing is now it's setting them up for at the very beginning. I'm telling them, hey, I'm not going to send you more info. If you like this, we're going to get on another call where we're going to go deep into everything that we're going to give you, right? And so what we're very much like the value ladder, we're trying to build their commitment level up, right? That's why it's like, hey, first phone call, you've got 5 minutes, I'm going to take 3. Like low commitment, right? And it's so even for like our cold emails, even for everything, we're just with B2B sales, because we want to automate it and we want to scale it.
Yeah.
All we're doing is we're looking to nudge people a little bit closer to the point of decision. We're just we have this bucket of people who all we know is they own practices that they're in our target market. We have no idea who's interested. So we just throw out a lure to see who wants more clients, who's interested in new technology, who's looking for new ways to grow. And out of that, there's going to be people who raise their hand, and all we're asking them to do is just raise their hand for more info. We don't send more. And so similarly, each step is it's one more gate, and it seems slower, right? But if we define these gates, all of a sudden, once they get through to the end, we're only spending the most time with the people who are the most qualified. And I remember, I think you're familiar with Dan. I remember with Dan last year, it was like he would get off of a qualifying call, which is the call we just role played. And I would be like, okay, did you ask them, if they could afford it? Did you ask them who the decision making was? Did you ask them what their timeline, did you? And like the first couple was like, oh shit, I forgot. Oh shit. But then afterwards it became part of the process. And so that way, every time we would come into the pitch knowing, all right, these guys can afford it. They're ready to go. These are the decision makers. Like, this is the moment. This is the pitch. And it's really like each person goes through this process. Otherwise, we don't put a full pitch together. We just keep chatting with them. If they don't pass through the gate, we just keep building that relationship with them, offering whatever kind of value until they pass through the gate. Then we pitch.
That's right. And I would say we have the best results in communication when we are hooked them into the bot. I want them to scan my barcode, and then it's they connect and they start, and then we get a following up message in 30 minutes, and then it's asked for it's a small information about Facebook. It's 98% opt-in rate and blah blah blah. Do you want to connect? Do you want us to call you? And do you want to book a meeting? And it's 100 out of 100.
So, okay, perfect. So you're driving people into your bot already.
Yeah. I mean, they scanning my phone.
Perfect. So here's
like a business card. I said we don't have business card. We have this. And oh, cool. What is this?
Mm-hmm. Can I share with you? So then now where do you find the next opportunity lies? Is it in getting more of those people back on the phone? Is it in getting those people? Are you already getting those people onto a call? Now we need to convert them. Where do you feel is the next area of opportunity? If they're already on the bot, now where's the next? I
want to have I want to have a one-on-one meeting, even if it's physical. It could be on video or something.
Perfect.
But have this conversation and show them, and get them to feel like, it's a person there. It's not only a bot.
Yeah. So I would say two things about it, right? So the first thing is that you have this follow-up sequence, and within the follow-up sequence, I've learned that in certain industries, it's helpful just to keep you need to try and grab their info from them as quickly as you can, and then put them on a long-term drip where really they're going to simmer. And the reason I say this is in real estate, that's what I find a lot of leads are. A lot of leads, they're hot, and that they're either motivated and ready to start taking action now, or they're going to sit in there until they're ready. It's really just about staying top of mind. However, on the other hand, there are these B2B kind of, if we're pitching marketing services where it's not really like selling a house or buying a home that's wrapped up in all these other life decisions, right? Where it's really simply about business growth, we can systematically create a way for us to hit all of those points that they need in order to be like, you know what, Chris, Karen, I'm ready to pay you, right? So for me, it's always about a couple of things, right? And it goes back to these ones here, right? Do they realize that they are incapable and you guys are capable? Do they realize that it's difficult as hell, but you guys make it easy? Do they realize that they could do it and they know their options to do it, but you have an alternative which is better, for them in their terms of the system? And then do they actually see the value, the cost benefits, right? This person put this much in ad spend and then they got this much back, right? I think that those types of things. And then the second thing is the second way of looking at it is what's holding me back, right? There's this internal thing where it's like, yeah, that'll work for everybody else. But you see, Chris, you see, Karen, I've got this thing with my business and I'm special because this. Facebook ads won't work with me because of this. Chatbots won't work. Yeah, that sounds great, but what you're saying won't work with me because of this. That is rolling around in every single client's head, right? Just because they're trying to make excuses for themselves. So they're gonna look, their brain is gonna try and find those things, so we have to handle it. And then the second thing is okay, yeah, that sounds great, but the tools, right? There's this external thing that's holding them back. And it's a lot of times do they understand the system? They don't need to know how to do it, but they need to understand. If you confuse people where they're like, oh my goodness, I have no idea what you just said, that's never gonna work. But if people get a grasp and they see the whole map, they're like, oh, okay, I see the map. I don't know how to get there. That's why I need you. You're the guide. But yes, we're here. I want to go there. And I see the map. I see how this works. That's how they should be able to understand it. And if they do that, then Chris, Karen, let's talk. What's the next step?
Yes, right. Because it's so many times they ask if I come from the moon because of what the hell is a bot. That is a problem. But if you're thinking about selling results, and I say, okay, maybe the first month you must tweak, and if you find the baseline of the ads, then you can scale. If you put in $1,000 and you make $10,000, it doesn't mean if you put in $2,000 you make $20,000. You can make $30,000. But when you find the magic formula or the algorithm for this particular case, then you can scale it. But that's a lot of things to implement in persons that doesn't understand this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and it's a big mountain for them too, and therefore it's a lot of psychology. Or can we try it? Yes, of course you can try it, but you can try it on a small scale. But it's the initial cost. It's the initial time to do. We need to think. We need to know your business. We need to know how it's working. We need to know where the hurdles is. Actually, it's an analyze. It's not, as you say, put up a chatbot is no problem. You can connect Zapier or external interface, whatever. as cool things. But I mean, in the end of the day, it's the result. I mean, if it's all about money, or is it about persons, or is it about, you know, more things of that, or mind, you know, you don't know. You need to define it and go backwards.
Right. There's this bucket of reasons that people will, right? And these are the value points that you need to hit. But then there's also this bucket of reasons that people won't. Those are the objections. And in the relationship building process, notice we didn't really talk a lot, and those of you guys are catching this on the stream, we went over kind of the you know, how to effectively build rapport that's going to position you to be able to sell to them later. Now, what we didn't talk about, though, that's an entirely different part, we mentioned a little bit, is not being a douchebag, like not being a dickhead, like actually being someone that people like, being a real, genuine, authentic person like that. There's that aspect of it. But when I'm building rapport, when I'm building this relationship, what I'm actually trying to do is I'm trying to pull out all of the reasons that they're not gonna. I'm gonna try to pull out all the reasons that they're not gonna want to say yes, and I'm not gonna like try and attack it at the moment. I'm just gonna pull it out and I'm gonna go, oh, they're kind of worried about prices. All right, I'm gonna put that in my back pocket. I'm gonna know that later. So in my pitch, I'm gonna really talk about the value that we're gonna bring and why it's so much bigger than the investment that they're gonna make. Or maybe in my relationship building, you know, they talk about, oh yeah, we tried this before, or whatever it is. So I'm pulling all this and I'm putting it in my back pocket so that later on, it kind of feels like the presentation was tailored to them, but it's just because I was armed with all of the knowledge that they gave me before. And so that's why now we used to have a process where someone would qualify the person, but then the next person would actually close them. And we were having like a big disconnect. And it was just, we weren't converting as much as we could have. And what I realized is that a lot of it had to do with because we were losing the relationship and we were losing those answers that were drawn out in the conversation leading up to the pitch. So when I'm not just sitting there trying to be a friend, of course that's always, I'm trying to be genuine and authentic. But what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to pull out what's their potential objections. And then on the other hand, what are what we call hot buttons? What are the things like if I ask, have you guys ever done any like marketing before? Oh yeah, we tried this or that, and I'm okay, that's great. I'm trying to, well, why did you guys try that? Oh, well, we had someone who said that they could do this and whatever. I'm also trying to figure out what are their points that worked in the past for them, so that I could use those again on, similarly. So
yeah, but these people, they are in the local papers. That's 95% of those people you're speaking to. They are in local papers.
So I would figure out like not the what, but like why. Like, oh, because everybody's doing it. Oh, like, or because it's gonna be this, or like all right, like why? And then how can I leverage that same why on our next call? Because it's like, hey, Mr. Business owner, you told me that you wanted to be, that you're in the papers because of this reason. Well, if that's the real reason and that's what you told me, Facebook ads is actually way better at that reason. And you get all these other things. And not even just Facebook ads, our system is way better at that reason because of all, of this, and this. And you get all of this, and this. So it's pulling out info.
Yeah, I mean, actually, one thing that I spoke to some of those and said, well, use the system as well. I mean, use the barcode in the ad, in the paper. Oh, can you do that? Yes, of course. Then you know who is there, and you can do a follow-up and make the transition from the paper to the Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. And don't exclude anything. I mean, using emails as well, even if it's, bad opt-in rates. Because they only see one thing. They can't see the big picture. They only see the paper. They see the paper and see how they've been doing for 10 years. That's the thing.
So does that give you a little bit of clarity on how to approach the real estate agent? I think for them, what you
Yeah.
really have to do is you have to, specifically for real estate, is like you said, the results. And the results that they want is they don't just want leads, they want motivated leads, right? They
Yeah.
want to get, they real estate agents are so lazy that they're like, I want you to basically do my job for you. So it's like, all right, I'm going to get you as close as we can. And that's the great thing about chatbots, is that they do allow you to find the ones who are motivated and make it easy, to get those people. So I think that is how we target real estate agents, is the fact that they don't have to follow up with all the internet leads like they do.
Technically, we could match them in the same system if it was possible.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to check in and see if there's any other questions. Any other questions, Chris, or anything that I could clarify or go over?
Not now, but maybe when I hook off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, I'm going to call this live video. Chris, thank you for your willingness to jump in and do this for everybody.
Yeah, as I always say, you can't learn too much. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get any answer.
I love it. So this is up on the Millennial Skills page, though, so you can go back and I just was like a fire hydrant because I knew it was going to be recorded. So I just threw everything at you, so you can go back and pick what you liked. The rest of you guys, if you guys are on the stream, Chris, do you have anywhere for people? I mean, I know you guys are always hustling. Do you guys have like a Facebook group or do anything online?
No, we don't have yet. No.
All right. Well,
no, because we're building for others.
I know, and that's enough. That takes its own time. We'll come hang out with Chris and Karen in our accelerator program, and we'll do it then. All right, Chris, I know it's late for you, so thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. The rest of you guys, we'll see you later.
Thank you. Cheers.